I don't fear death. I simply have a healthy aversion to activities that could result in it. I mean, really, I can't imagine any reason why people would actually be afraid of death. Um, Reluctant to die, absolutely. Frustrated by the shortness of life, completely. It's just difficult for me to understand what there is to fear about non-existence. I guess if you believe that death is that final judgment, that moment of truth, were you good enough? Did you do the right things? Were you a good enough person to make it? And yeah, okay, I understand a fear of death. In that final moment, you're wondering, is it an eternity of heaven or eternity of hell? Not a fun moment, I can imagine. And yeah, okay, I can see why someone might fear that. But as a non-believer, I couldn't imagine being afraid of non-existence. In the same way that I can't be afraid of pre-existence. But I'm not here to talk about death itself. I'm constantly amazed by the plethora of ritualistic activities that people put around death. I mean, I don't understand the purpose of a funeral. I mean, there was a time when I thought that, yes, a funeral was necessary for the grieving process and the psychological blah 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 blah. But I had an experience in my last year at university where two of my grandparents, one from each side, died within a month of one another. And one of them was on my Catholic side, and there was a large Catholic funeral. Very similar to what you saw with Ted Kennedy, just less important people there. And my other grandparent, on my atheist side, had no wake, no funeral. When he died in the hospital, they cremated him there and sent the ashes, weirdly enough, by FedEx. I do have to say that was definitely bizarre. But I think only because the norm is so completely opposite. There was no real difference in the grieving process. I mean, I missed them both a great deal, but the funeral that I did go to really didn't make that much of a difference in my ability to move on. In general, it just seems like an exceptional waste of money. I mean, that's money that you could be giving to your kids and your grandkids, could be giving to charities, that you could be using to better the lives of others, and I don't understand why we pour so much money into rituals and activities that we're never going to see ourselves. And considering that, at least from my own experience, the funeral didn't actually change how quickly I was able to cope with my grandmother's death, so I can only wonder, what is this obsession? I mean, really, who cares what happens to you after you're dead? So in my will, I mean, I plan to specify where the money goes and where the possessions go, simply to make it easier for the people left behind to be able to sort through it all and move on. But I don't plan to leave any instructions for what to do with my body once I no longer need it. I guess that if the people I leave behind find it necessary to do something with it, to make their lives better, I don't see any problem with that. I would prefer that they didn't spend the money that way. Plus, I don't really see the purpose of burial. I mean, is there some kind of religious reason why the body has to be intact? I mean, in cultures like Japan, they cremate and then put next to a gravestone of some kind. So if any of you guys out there know why it is that, you know, whole bodies must be put in caskets and laid in very much an inefficient and space-consuming way, please do leave a comment or a video response on that, but that's not my question. My first question is, do you care what happens to your body after you die? Do you have that in your will, or do you plan to put that into a will? And my second question is, why? Especially to my non-believers, is there a reason why you have a preference for what happens to your body once you're no longer in existence? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Ah, my hair is attached to the tree. Damn.